Hi class, it's Miss Johnson, aka Morgan Johnson, and we are back with another Japanese lesson today. Today we are learning about Japan and we are focusing on the cherry blossom, and we are going to be making a konobori, which is a carp kind of flying kite. But to start off, a fun fact about Japan is that Japan is home to a 2,000-year-old cherry blossom tree. So that is super interesting. And throughout today's video, we are going to learn some super fun facts about Japan and why the cherry blossoms are so important. So, like I said, with today's video, we are going to be making a konobori, the flying carp windsock. So these are symbolic of the culture in Japan, and they're very fun for children, and they symbolize courage, and a lot of the great assets that Japan culture thrives on. So what we're going to do today is start out with our flat carp, and we are going to start by placing the white over the blue top, and we're going to leave it so that the holes match up. So while we do some of this, I wanted to talk to you about some of our favorite fun facts about cherry blossoms. So cherry blossoms have been super important in the friendship between the United States and Japan since Japan gifted the U.S. cherry blossoms. We've seen that from the gift of the cherry blossoms stemmed a whole national cherry blossom festival. And it's brought tons of visitors and patriotic people to our nation's capital during springtime to see the blossoms. The other important thing with the blossoms to know is that the blossoms are very symbolic for a fleeting life. They not only show beauty and grace with how elegant they bloom, but they also remind all of us that life is very precious, and if we don't take in the moment of beauty, it will be gone in a second. Because as the trees blossom, they are also gone in very quick time because all the pretty blossoms fall very quick. So my first two steps that I've done with the konobari is attaching the mouth, and I lined up the holes, and then I added an eye. My next step is to take these fun scales and put on some scales onto our card. So by starting at the back end towards the tail, we are going to add 4, and then every line after that, we're going to do 6 lines of 5 scales. So if you want to, you could do a super cool rainbow pattern. If you wanted to, you could do them line by line. That's totally up to you, and that's a little bit of your creative prerogative to get to decide that. I'm just going to show you a very basic design. I think I'm going to go with sort of a rainbow design, but like I said, whatever you choose, whatever makes you happiest is what is best for the fish. So I'm going to do a Roy G. Biv color scheme. Oopsies. So I accidentally attached the first fin the wrong way, so I just want to show you while I have it here. So how you're supposed to attach these scales is have the hump facing the back. So as long as we put the hump facing the back for all of them, then they will actually look like scales. The other cool part about this is that as you layer it, your fish will start to get more detail. But that's how it would look. Hello. So after about 5 minutes, your konobori should look like this. It has some really cool scales on it. As you can see, I did a pattern where I go start with yellow over on this side, and then I start with yellow over on this side. So I kind of reverse the pattern, going back and forth. And there still are a few more things that I have to do with this. So my next step is going to be to flip the mouth inside out. And so at this point, we are not going to see any white. Then I am going to insert this plastic film. This will give the fish stability to keep its mouth open. So that's kind of a symbolic part about these carp, is that they are always going to have the big open mouth. So you just feed it through both sides, as you can see like that. I'm feeding it in because on the sides you can slip it in. I will pull it back out like this, and it is all done. And then our next step is to just attach an elastic, and we're going to put it through the carp's mouth. This will make it so that we can hang the carp. And we are going to attach the carp to a stick. So our stick that we're going to attach it to looks like this. We are going to attach it, and the whole part about keeping it outside is that our carp now has an open mouth, so anytime air is blowing into his mouth, his whole body will be fluttering. So he'll kind of be swimming around even though he is up in the air. So this is a popular craft and thing to see in Japan. So I wanted to show you all how to be able to create a carp like this. That's super awesome. The konobori. So the konobori is kind of a, means like a carp streamer. So it stands for flying carp. And the carp is super symbolic for strength and determination. So these types of kites get flown on Children's Day. That is in May 5th. And the reason is they symbolize children. The different colors and the size of the carp is actually symbolic of different family members. But they're super symbolic for the traditions in Japan. And then also talking about the traditions, we have the wonderful tradition of the cherry blossoms. So in Japan, we have cherry blossoms all over, and we have people that travel very, very far to go see them. The cherry blossoms, also known as the sakura, that is the Japanese word for cherry blossom, symbolize beauty. They symbolize fleeting life. Hello. So real quick, I just want to finish up by asking the class some questions to see where our understanding lies, and if we have any final questions about our Japan and konobori and cherry blossom lesson. So to end today, I want you to think in your head, not say it out loud. Think to yourself. Then we're going to share with our group, and then we will share out loud to the class. What season of the year do the cherry blossoms typically blossom? What season of the year do the cherry blossoms typically blossom? I want you to all be thinking in your own heads. Okay, now share your answer out loud with the people at your table. Good. Okay. Which table wants to take this one on? Okay, table one, tell us the answer. Which season do the cherry blossoms bloom? In the spring. Yeah. Good. You even told us that they typically go in like March and April. Awesome. Good job, table one. And good job to everyone. Your konoboris look great. You can go home and fly those anytime. Remember, they're just a symbol of strength and courage. But remember with the cherry blossoms how symbolic they are of friendship. Remember that cherry blossoms connect the US and Japan, and they have for a very, very long time. Okay? With that final message, let's close up our notebooks. Let's put everything away and have a great rest of your day. Okay? Okay, so that was the end of my lesson. I don't know if you can tell, but I am typically with older kids. So I'm typically with 13 and 14-year-olds. So my lessons are a little bit more fast-paced, are a little bit more content-heavy, notes-heavy, writing, that kind of good stuff. It was really fun to kind of experiment and try an elementary school lesson. I definitely have a lot of practice, but it's also fun. Teaching is one of my passions. I am a history educator. So understanding and teaching and learning and continuing to focus on the history of the cherry blossoms has been almost a goal of my life since I saw the cherry blossoms for the first time. So it's only been my third year of seeing the cherry blossoms, but I've somehow gotten involved every year since seeing them for the first time. So last year I was a national cherry blossom princess and I represented Pennsylvania. And this year I am going with that same program to Japan again next month to do a Kakahashi program. So that means building bridge connecting the US and Japan. Doing a cultural exchange program. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to learn really about the Japanese, about their culture, about the way they live, all that kind of stuff. And I get to actually see it. So I just appreciate you actually listening to me, hearing the time to see me do something that I love, which is teaching and creating lesson plans and thinking of ways to continue to educate. But also see something, one of my other passions, which is history. And then off of that, the history of the cherry blossoms, which is one of my favorite topics. To be able to look at something that happened more than 100 years ago and still see the effects of it today and see how it affects my life and how it's given me courage and hope and something to look forward to and continual projects to be working on and spreading and sharing happiness just around the world. It just makes life a little bit better, and it makes me so excited to get towards the spring and get through the winter. So I really appreciate you guys listening to this. I would really appreciate the opportunity to represent and serve and educate my community, and do that as a Goodwill ambassador. I would also just love the chance to talk to you guys and see what I can bring to the table as a Goodwill ambassador with my background in education and history, but also like a social media side or that kind of cool stuff. So I'd really like to just see what kind of opportunities there are for this spring and make this year of the cherry blossoms the best one yet. So thank you for listening to me rant about cherry blossoms. I love cherry blossoms. And like I said, the Goodwill ambassadors have been something that I've been eyeing since I first learned what they were. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to talking to you guys. Thank you.